Welcome to my World of Warcraft tutorial for the complete beginner, or utter noob, if you will. I'm Nancy. This is Necrosin that you're looking at right here. She is who I am in game as my main character on the Moonguard server. What I would like to do is create a video for people who are going to be playing World of Warcraft for the very first time, because it can be a little bit confusing to start. There are a lot of things that go into this. Understanding what race and class and things that you want to be in game. Now, this is what I see when I first log in. The very first time you log in, however, you're going to get a screen that is going to prompt you to choose a realm. A realm is a fancy name for what server you're going to be playing on. The World of Warcraft universe has many different servers, and you play pretty much exclusively with the people who are on the same server as you. So, why does this matter? Well, if you are coming in to World of Warcraft to play with friends who are already players, you want to be on the same server as they are. If you're coming in as a complete new person and you don't yet have any friends in the game, it matters a little bit less. However, I can explain the difference a little bit for you as to what it is that you should choose. When you log in, for the first time, you're going to be prompted to choose your area. For example, I'm in the United States, so that's what I would choose. And then it's going to ask you a couple of questions, whether you want to be in an RP server, a PvE server, or a PvP server. The basic difference is that an RP server RP is short for role play. So you can be with other people if you want to immerse yourself in your character, play along with the lore and the story of World of Warcraft with other people, or if you want to start out on a fairly safe place to play. And when I say that, if you start out in an RP server, you don't have to worry about getting what's called ganked. Essentially, that's another character just arbitrarily coming up and killing you. That's not something that you have to worry about on an RP server. PvP is player versus player, where indeed you will die a lot based on other people coming up and killing you from the opposite faction. And the PvE server is a normal server for just normal gameplay. I choose the RP server for the infamous Moonguard, which I didn't even know was infamous when I came back to the game after being gone for a long time, because it was a high population RP server, and that's where I wanted to start again. Now, what will happen is that it's going to automatically assign a realm to you based on what type of realm and that you choose in the area. If you have friends that are already playing that you're looking to play with, you're going to want to change it to where they play. And you'll need to know what server that is when you start out. When you go to change realm, this is your realm selection. And you can see that the names are here, along with the type that it is, and the population on the server. I am on Moonguard because I came back and went into Cenarian Circle, which is a medium population server, and when I did that, there weren't a whole lot of people playing. I hardly ever saw anyone. And so I decided to change where I was going to play, and I ended up on Moonguard, and I'm pretty happy there. So you select where you want to go. At that point, you're going to be prompted to create a new character. Why is this important? Well, in addition to you making something that you think that you want to play, which is the purpose of the game, if your friends are in one faction or another on the server that you've selected, Alliance or Horde, you would want to choose to be in the same faction, or you're not going to be able to communicate. You're going to be enemies. You're not even going to be able to chat in-game. You're not going to be able to send mail to one another. And so make sure that if you have friends that are playing, that you select a character that's either Alliance or Horde based on what your friends play. If you're coming in as a new person, you don't currently have someone in-game, there are many websites that can explain to you the difference, such as Wowhead, that you can go in and read about the different factions and decide what side you want to be on for your first character. Once you decide whether or not you want to be Alliance or Horde, you have to choose a race. Now, the Alliance has humans, dwarves, night elves, gnomes, draenei, and Morgan. The Horde has orcs, undead, tauren, trolls, blood elves, they're the pretty ones, and goblins. And then there's the Pandaren. After you go through several levels of Pandaren, you get to choose which side you want to be on. So that one is a little bit different. They're humanoid pandas, essentially. Now, for the sake of this, the other thing that you need to know is that you're going to have to choose a class. So if you already have a class in mind, you want to be a warrior tank, or you want to be a healing priest, or you think rogue sounds really cool because you can go partially invisible and sneak up on people and stab them, you have to make sure that you have that you are on a race that has the class that you want to play. Not all races have access to being played by all classes. So for example, this little panda lady here, she can be a warrior, she can be a hunter, she can be a rogue, she can be a priest, a shaman, a mage, or a monk. Pandas can't be warlocks, druids, or death knights. Undead, on the other hand, doesn't get to be a paladin, doesn't get to be a shaman, nor do they get to be a druid. But they can be a warlock, they can be a death knight, they can be a hunter. It all depends on what it is that you think that you want to play. Basic overview of classes. The warrior is essentially the leading class that people play if they want to be a tank, which means they want to do hand-to-hand combat. In a group situation, in a dungeon, they would be the ones who would draw the mobs, while the people who were DPS, which are essentially your casters, like warlock or mage or hunters or rogues, did damage to the mobs. And then, of course, you have characters such as a priest or a shaman who takes on more of a healing role. Druids tend to be that they have the ability to be a couple of different things. They can tank if they are in the situation of choosing that as their specification. They can go into animal form, and some of their animal forms can really take a beating. So I think in this case what I'm going to do is show you can also choose male or female, and it's going to make obviously a big difference in how you look. In this case I'm going to choose an undead warlock. I like to do the warlock class. That is what I'm best at, and that is what I'm hoping that I can help other people understand how to play. I like to think that I'm rather good at playing warlock, and I think that there are a lot of tips that I could give folks like yourself on how to play it. Although in future videos I will go over some other classes as well. The cool thing about the warlock, in addition to it being black magic, is that the warlock has the ability to summon demons, and these demons are either assistive in causing damage, or sometimes they can be assistive in protecting the warlock from getting killed. We're going to customize her a little bit. You get to choose her skin color, which goes from a kind of a scary shade of green all the way to a very pale. I think maybe we'll go with this one. And the face, when we get in a little bit closer, you can go anywhere from rather pretty to really, really hideous. So there are a lot of choices there as to whether or not you want to be pretty or mean or any of that. You can change the hair. There are a lot of different styles. You can look like Bride of Frankenstein, or you can look like Valley Girl. I think I'm going to pick Valley Girl. And I think that I will make her very, very blonde. You can go black, you can go turquoise and gold and green and a lot of different colors. Features allow you to customize the face in some pretty strange ways, like showing more of maybe some blisters on the face or some erosion. I think for the sake of this, I think we're going to go with pretty. Now you get to name your character, and you can either use the randomize button to have it make a name for you, or you can type a name in. If someone else already has that name, for example, I put in my real name, it'll say that it's unavailable. If you pick a name that no one else has, it will let you use a name that you've created yourself, or you can just go through randomize until you find something that you really like. Shalaxana, let's go with that. So now we have Shalaxana. She's created. She's on the Moonguard RP server, and she's a level 1 warlock. And in the next video, we will go into what happens when you actually get into the game for the first time as an undead. Thanks. See you next time.